Episode number 9 of my series about the Senzo Meyiwa case. Let's focus on the defense strategy. Let's break it down. How the defense is fighting for their clients when it comes to the entire Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. After the state closed its case, the focus shifted straight to the defense. Rather than simply denying involvement, the defense team adopted a different legal strategy, or they adopted different legal strategies aimed at creating reasonable doubt, challenging the credibility of the investigation, and exposing weaknesses in the prosecution's case. Now, in this episode, we are examining how each defense team approached the trial and whether those strategies succeeded in raising the doubt. Okay. Now, first of all, challenging the investigation is one of the best options that they are using. All right. One of the defense's strongest themes has been criticism of the police investigation. The defense argued that the crime scene was contaminated. You will remember Mshololo dealing with this a lot. Important forensic opportunities were lost. Investigators relied heavily on disputed statements instead of objective evidence. Some investigative decisions appeared inconsistent or inadequately documented. Those are challenges that defense is exposing. Throughout cross-examination, defense counsels repeatedly questioned the quality and reliability of the investigation. That's what they did. Secondly, they are attacking witness credibility. The defense focused extensively on contradictions between witnesses, changes in witness versions over time, differences between written statements and oral testimony, memory lapses years after the incident. Their argument was not necessarily that every witness was dishonest, but that inconsistent testimony makes it difficult to establish guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Thirdly, challenging confessions. Several defense teams argued that alleged confession statements and admissions were obtained unlawfully, made under coercion, procedurally defective. The admissibility hearing became some of the most contested parts of the trial because the court first had to determine whether those statements could legally be relied upon. Number 4, questioning forensic evidence. The defense challenged ballistic findings, DNA evidence, cell phone evidence, chain of custody, firearm links. Those are the things that they are dealing with. Rather than presenting alternative forensic theories, the defense often argued that the evidence did not conclusively connect the accused to the murder. Number 5, different strategies for different accused. Although the 5 accused are standing trial together, each has separate legal representation. This resulted in different cross-examination styles, different legal priorities, different factual disputes, different tactical decisions. Some lawyers concentrated on forensic evidence, others focused on witness credibility, others challenged the legality of the investigation itself. Number 6, defense witnesses. Once the state closed its case, several defense witnesses testified. Some attempted to dispute parts of state's timeline, challenge investigative findings, explain alleged inconsistencies, support claims made by the accused. As with all the witnesses, the court will ultimately decide what weight to give their evidence. Now, the defense does not have to prove innocence. Instead, South African criminal law places the burden on the state to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense strategy, therefore, focuses on creating reasonable doubt by highlighting investigative shortcomings, unreliable evidence, contradictions, procedural issues, and credibility concerns. If the court finds that a reasonable doubt exists, it must acquit the accused. Okay? Now, the defense with everything that is happening, the defense fighting for the accused, the public is watching and they are reacting. The defense strategy has divided the public opinion. Some observers believe the defense successfully exposed major weaknesses in the state's case and demonstrated why the prosecution has struggled to present a consistent narrative. And I even remember there was a time Umnisi once said the case is struggling. The state is fighting a losing battle for their struggling case. There was a time. Others argue that raised questions about the investigation does not necessarily establish innocence and that the court must consider the evidence as a whole before reaching a verdict. Many legal commenters have noted how the lengthy cross-examination have revealed both the complexity of the case and the challenges of prosecuting a matter more than a decade after the crime occurred. So those are the challenges even the defense is facing. It's not easy, guys. It's definitely not an easy case, but the defense is fighting. I believe that the defense has done an incredible job to expose the state case. And what I liked is that even before this defense case started, the state case was already exposed through their own witnesses, through evidence that was brought the state. Something is very awful when it comes to the state case. By the time the defense started their own case to defend their accused, for each accused to defend himself, we are still on accused number 2's case, and yet it's bad, guys. It's bad. It's really bad for the state case because Sana, the things that are coming out are not nice. Not at all. Now, which defense advocate has impressed you the most and why? I want to hear from you in the comment section because I know Mshololo is strong, Messi is strong, and these other two because they were not always coming out as strong, but they are dangerous. Ramsipile is worse now. In fact, both of them. Yabana Black Mamba is poisonous like that because he knows thorough ways of dealing with the court processes. He was once a prosecutor. You do understand? So there's a lot of things that are going on there. There's a lot of issues that you can actually be like, I don't know which one to pick. So for me, all of them are strong. For you, who is your bestie? Who is your betting horse there? But nah, I don't care about but Ramza is my person. But there are very serious times whereby Umalo will, damn it. In fact, all of them are great for me. Has the defense created reasonable doubt in your opinion? What are your thoughts when it comes to the defense creating reasonable doubt? In my view, they have, and they have successfully done that. All of them, actually. For each accused, there is a lingering doubt. It's not just something small. It's a big deal of a doubt. It's a big deal of a doubt because Sana, everything is questionable. Which legal argument do you believe has been the strongest? Maybe let me leave that to you to discuss the comment section because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of legal arguments for me that we can rely on, especially when it comes to writing of statements by Gininda. There's a lot of meat in that bone. There's a lot of meat in that bone. Did the defense expose genuine investigative flaws or simply exploit weaknesses? Both. But there is genuine investigating flaws in this case. There is a lot of things that went wrong. If there was a time whereby they do a Madlanga commission, Gininda, my guy, yabona abo Sesibaloyi, they can ravaza Gininda to the core. They would ravaza Gininda to the core. It's a lot. They would ravaza him. Okay. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to that? I want to hear from you, Uguti. How do you feel about that? The other one is Should the court focus more on evidence itself or on how the investigation was conducted? Actually, both. Both, because both of them, they are failing dismally. When now, quick comment section, let me know what are your thoughts, what comes to mind for you, because I feel like there's a lot of questionable things. Based on everything you've heard so far, has the defense changed your view on the case? Has the defense changed your view on the case? A lot. For me, my view changed a lot because it's from from west. It's from bad to west. Okay, it's from west to west. I don't know. It is bad. That like it's horrible. What is happening in that courtroom is shocking, Sanala. So that is what I want us to focus on when it comes to this video. If you are enjoying the trial breakdown series, subscribe to the Noni M podcast, please. Like this episode and share your thoughts in the comment section. Please be respectful when you do that. Your perspective could be featured in the future episode as we continue following one of South Africa's most closely watched criminal trials. The Senzo Mewa case is one big trial. And there is a lot of things that we are going to learn from it as a country. The legal fraternity also is going to learn a lot of things when it comes to the Senzo Mewa case. What are your thoughts when it comes to any of these things? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear from you. I thank you so much, man. Please don't forget to like, to share, to comment. And most importantly, please make sure subscribe. Subscribe. Bye-bye.